Time for a PPR draft here on the Splash Play channel. I just did one on DraftKings, and now I'm trying to do one on Drafters right now, where I've had some good finishes overall, including last year in the playoff best ball tournament finish just outside the top 10. Previously on Drafter, finished just outside, well, actually, inside the top 100. But this year, we're waiting to fill the draft rooms. This is a tough part. I was hoping it would fill before the stream started. We got 6 spots in here on Drafters, so come draft along with me on Drafters today. You guys know the deal. Promo code SPLASH on there. We'll get you in. $100 deposit match on Drafters. The biggest thing you have going on there is no playoff pods and at all. You're just dealing in total points for 17 weeks. So it's a big advantage for you guys out there that do draft a little more, I would say, RB heavy, a little more chalky, a little more of the elite players, all that. So let's fill this room, guys. 6 spots. You can literally sign up and get in right now. So please do it for the love of God. Let's catch up, though, on some news in particular. I feel like George Pickens has been the talk of the town. That's why he's on the thumbnail today. That's why my face is also making my, I can't even make that face again. Anyway, I made that face for a photo. Now I'm going to have to use it over and over again for years. I really don't get the Pickens rise. Like, is it just that people saw him on the team? Is it just that CeeDee Lamb said he's going to be also a wide receiver 1? And by the way, he's not actually going to be also a wide receiver 1. In fact, he's probably going to get fucked pretty bad because the fact Cowboys don't want to pay another wide receiver as much money as they're paying CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott for the next ungodly amount of years. So, like, why is Pickens soaring up every draft? And it's also, too, like, one of the things I talk about a lot in the show, coaching changes, coaching moves, who's coming in, who's coming out. Do people even know who the Dallas coaches are? Do they know it's like a Brian Schottenheimer team there? Do they know that was the guy who was architecting the offense last year that ran the ball really well, didn't do anything else well at all? I'm just like, I feel like I'm on an island with the Pickens thing, and maybe other content creators are also like, yeah, fuck George Pickens, which also, I wouldn't say fuck George Pickens because he'd probably tackle me and strangle me. But I do think in general, like, this rise where he's going to get to the top 50 now, it's kind of batshit to me. So that's one of the biggest takes I have right now is George Pickens being a little bit loftily owned or a little bit loftily ADP'd right now. I'm trying to make the screen a little bit bigger here for this draft. Hold on one sec. There we go. It's unfortunately different size windows for when I do my DraftKings draft and this one. So I got to move shit around. 3 spots left, by the way. It's promo code SPLASH on Drafters. So love of God, get in. Other big news item that I saw, which I think is something we've talked about on this stream a bunch, but I'll highlight again because I don't think market's caught up based upon him going at pick 150 in the last draft I did. Right now, Tyjae Spears' ADP is stupid. It's way too low. Tyjae Spears is going to be in a split backfield. Already, the coaches are talking about they're wanting to get it to closer to a 50-50. And people already forgot at the end of last year, and maybe I didn't forget because of how much Tyjae Spears was carrying some of my big board finalist teams and some of my other teams in general. But Tyjae Spears was like a guy that played incredibly well when Pollard went down in the home stretch, and in fact was your DFS chalk at one of the highest projections of the week when he was in play there in a big way down the home stretch. Had a concussion that ended up costing him some ceiling in that game, cost me some money too, unfortunately. But for Tyjae, he was great. Like, he was great as a backup. He was good filling in as well. And I think for him, that's the biggest thing that you have in an offense is going to be better with Cam Ward, who's already asserting leadership out there. Don't worry about the reports of him splitting with Will Levis right now. That's just what you do when your rookie's ramping up in your first, organized practice for the entire team of the offseason. But I think Tennessee will be better no matter what with Cam Ward out there. And I think Tyjae Spears is probably pretty likely to benefit. And, Cam Ward is a guy that can run, pretty efficient runner overall, high EPA runner. Actually, let's look at the number real fast. We're still waiting for one more to fill this room, 2 more. Cam Ward had a really high 0.8 EPA per rush last year. Pretty high for a QB, 24% avoided tackle rate as well. The issue is he only ran 3 times and change per game. So, like, he's not going to be a big time runner, even though he can run. That opens things up as well. It means that he'll probably get some more checkdowns going Pollard or Tyjae Spears' way. I'd say Spears more likely as a more likely pass catcher, more, I would say, successful pass catcher than Pollard. Oh no, we lost somebody. Please, guys, 3 left in this draft so I can fulfill my sponsored obligations. But I think in general for Tyjae Spears, he's too cheap right now. He's one of those guys where, like, the rookies, the excitement for new players coming in have made people steam other guys above him. And in reality, we're in the same situation with Tyjae Spears we were in last year, where he was also undervalued. So Tyjae to me going way too cheap in draft rooms. I'll say that. What else to talk about? Let's look at the chat too. It's quite the party going on right now as I talk to myself, waiting for a draft room to fill. I'm sure Chunk is in the room though. It's cracking, fellas. Appreciate him being here. Okay, Matthew, appreciate that. And you agree on the Cowboys take? I hope so. We'll see. Like, maybe Brian Schottenheimer has learned so much after being the same way for every stop he's had in his entire career, and also not being the one calling plays for Dallas last year. But I just like the Dallas Dallas national, hype train, I feel like is backing up faster than ever this year. And I don't get it. Even AJ Brown was like, with Pickens, we got to really worry about the Cowboys. And like, I watched the clip because I was like, I saw the headline. I was like, is he being sarcastic? But no, I guess that's how people are feeling about the Cowboys. Pickens feels better on Cowboys and not Steelers. You have to admit, he feels better, not 20 picks better. I was getting Pickens in the 80s in the big board. Like, I took a lot of Pickens because of how cheap he was going because people didn't want to take him. So very much, I am okay with Pickens at the right price tag. I just don't think this is the right price tag. We got one spot left, guys. For the love of God, please, somebody join or I will die. I will die if we don't fill this one spot here. Can we just go a whole hour of me waiting for one more person to join a drafters draft? What if I throw the football in the air? Is it because people are being mean to me on Twitter again that I can't fill a drafters draft? Is that my issue? Please. Oh, back to back on this year's Jerry, but not quite icon set. You have given me some Jerry adjacent takes. I will give KY credit for that. Anyway, one spot left. I'm going to drink water. I don't have any more football thoughts. There's been a lot of football news. I'm going to have to start putting together my football news document every day. So I have something to fall back on in case I have to fill a drafters room for fucking 15 minutes. I'm also now at risk too. I got to get Luca. So, can somebody please join? Please join. Can we all make real quick clicks here on drafters? Oh, fuck, man. I can't do 4 o'clock drafts so we don't fill this drafters draft, guys. The dog's got to go potty. How can I sell you guys on one more person joining this draft? I have to pick up Luca. The dog has to potty. I got to do basketball lineups later. But, would like to get the stream done. Would like to get a draft going. And I don't want to move to another tab either. Like, I could talk about drafters rankings or something, but, we got to do the draft. All right. Yeah, we did it. All right. So everybody who's in the room, please click I am ready. Let's draft. Let's all click it so that I can go get my child from daycare and we can move on. This guy does. I do know ball. I know ball all too well. I know how long these drafts can take. So I'm really trying to make sure the ball goes fast. There's WNBA going as well. That's true. 5 people have clicked. We're not going to get them all. All right, here's Kitty the dog. Wait, here, will you guys click the button for this dog? Oh, I would love to go potty, but instead my daddy has to have me here doing more drafts. Yeah, we do say daddy here because I have an actual child. It's the only reason. I would not call it daddy otherwise. I'm not call myself daddy in a dog voice. Look at this bitch. She's getting so big too. Look how long she is. You just there's that dog pussy. There's that. Here you go. 9 people have clicked it. What about the other 3? Please click start draft. Please click let's draft. My child needs me. I'm trying. Shout out Kendrick here. Appreciate the kind words. As always, Kendrick, my biggest hype man. And I appreciate him for it. All right, that got us one more click. One more. Come on, guys. I have never seen a drafters draft start early. This button might as well not be here. Oh, man. My puppy, too. She has to pee. She's just here moving around. I know what's going on in there. No, it's not going to work. If the guy clicks, he's going to click it with 5 seconds left as a bit. Anyway, shout out to all you guys watching who did fill the room, though. Thank God. We're in the 4 hole today. We'll see if we can get going here. Different style of PPR draft from the DraftKings one I just did on Stochastic. See what we did. You know the last guy's some boomer. Cute. I hope so. I hope he at least picks a shitty team that maybe gives me one good team here. That'd be nice. I am the KY using the entire clock on pick 2. What? Do you guys not want me to be a present parent? Thank you, Whitey Locks. Thank you. I'll take Bijan here. Quick clicks. Let's do this chess style. Boom. Hit the thing. Done. Bijan Robinson. What's the case for him? He's probably the best young running back who's been in the league in fucking 10 years. And people want to take Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of him. They want to take Jefferson ahead of him. This guy wants to take Nico Collins. Charlie. That's Charlie taking Nico at pick 5. What are we doing? Thank you, KY. I appreciate it. I feel like Nico Nico and Brian Thomas both have to pay an ADP tax for the guys that have been added to their teams, I think. He's like, Nico at pick 5, Charlie? What's going on here? He's coming down, no? Is he not coming down on drafters? He's got 11 ADP, Charlie. You're getting unique already? Come on, Chuck. Charlie, a top BBM finisher a couple years ago, so if anybody deserves to be Raz, it's him. Yeah, I feel like I was talking about in the stochastic stream I just did for DraftKings, but really do think like Brian Thomas falling, I was able to get neighbors and Brian Thomas in that last stream. I thought that was a really fun combo that did not exist before, but Thomas is falling enough now because of Travis Hunter that it makes sense. Nico, though, I think has to fall. Like if you're going to have Jaden Higgins getting steamed up a bunch, like he's gone in the 90s. Actually, think of one of the drafters drafts I did on stream. He went in the 80s. With how high he's going, Jalen Noel maybe not coming up quite as much. Christian Kirk still hanging around the 120, 130 range, whatever. But like there's now enough guys there that Nico's case, I think, has changed entirely from before. And I feel like he and Brian Thomas should be the guys that fall the most. CeeDee Lamb should also fall a little bit. Like we love Pickens so much. And I say the market loves Pickens so much. There should always be like that push-pull dynamic ADP wise. And my least favorite part is when we get like just push, where it's like CeeDee Lamb is hanging up top. Then you still have, a spot where you have Pickens coming up 20 spots on ADP since, pre-NFL draft. I just feel like CeeDee Lamb should be 1-2 turn, especially as a guy that wasn't the most efficient last year. That's how that looks. But yeah, the guys to me that should fall right now, Nico, Lamb, Brian Thomas. And I love Brian Thomas, but like, with Hunter getting full-time work outside, and that's been the case so far in these team activities in May. He's playing outside. He's apparently going to split sometime at defense, but be playing less there. And that's been the way they've been practicing. Travis Hunter is now probably appropriately valued. We got elite tight end available here with Trey McBride. I can live with that. We do get Arizona Atlanta play week 16 as well. Not that matters for drafters, but a little bit of a boost. Andy here saying Nico had Tank and Diggs compete with last year. Nico's destroying until he pulled his hammy. Take him anywhere in the first. So you're saying that again, that doesn't matter though. Like that, I agree. Nico's a great player. I like Nico. I think this year he's probably, an 8K DFS receiver, which is one of the little mental calculations I do in my head to see where I think these guys actually align. I think Nico will be good, but like, it doesn't matter because it just still, that's how the dynamics of market-based pricing should work where, like if you take a bet on some guy being the MVP, then they trade for another star player. You took a bet on LeBron to win MVP for whatever reason, stupid bet. Let's say you took that bet, they trade for Luka midseason, LeBron's odds are going to shift, so you still didn't get a good bet. I think it's how I feel about Nico, where like the odds have shifted of him having a year like that, especially with Higgins in particular, who does shit a lot similar to him and all that. You really did give me something to talk about. Thank you, Charlie. An hour or two here of the drafts. We got Rashee Rice here as potential wide receiver 1. We did also take McBride, so we could do the very common pairing there. There is more value on Rashee Rice here relative to the drafters ADPs, but I will go Harrison for the correlation. I think making a bet on Arizona being better here seems like a good move to me. I think we can also hopefully get Kyler at a not stupid ADP, though we're probably going to take him early. Maybe not. Pick 93, I guess we don't have to on drafters. DraftKings think I'd have to take him at 76. So that could work. That could work. Let me show my roster instead of my chats for people in the drafters room. We got Bijan Robinson, Marvin Harrison, Trey McBride, Arizona double. Harrison putting on some muscle is another report floating around out there. Best shape of his life. I don't know if that matters too much, but I do think for a guy who doesn't create a ton of separation, having the ability to get some muscle is probably a positive for Marvin Harrison. Really think, though, for Marvin Harrison, the biggest thing for him will be the leap in year 2. Having McBride be a known quantity as well probably helps him out a little bit, shading some more coverage his way, as opposed to whatever coverage that Harrison saw early on in the year. People maybe not buying into McBride as much. So I think for Harrison, that's the biggest bet for him. I still think him adding muscle is not a bad thing, but I don't know. Tyreek Hill on the draft listed in DraftKings fell 10 spots. It is the DraftKings Q tag issue that happens on there, though. Basically, he has the Q tag on him, and it happened with 4 different players in the draft that I took personally. Because these guys have Q tags on DraftKings in May, the players then don't take them in a draft at their ADP, which not what you should do if you are a sharp drafter out there. But I would watch out for Tyreek Hill falling. Like I I've been pretty adamant about the fact I don't think he's going to click right now in the third round. Didn't think he was going to click in the second round. Never made it. Now he's in the third and can fall into the fourth as he just did for me. I would watch for a further fall for him because I think people might realize at a certain point, or maybe other content creators out there, bigger followings than me, point out Tyreek was not even close to the same player in 2024 as he was in 2023. Like the target share is not the same. The intended touch rate for him just being on the field, getting a snap, getting a target, that fell off the cliff as well. He wasn't used the same way, and now he's another year older and has more issues and kind of flirted with leaving the team in the offseason. I don't think it's a great spot for Tyreek right now to take him and to take him above Adams, who early reports are looking pretty good for him and with the Rams stuff. Evans, we know what he's going to be. We know he's going to go as hard as he possibly can till a limb falls off. That means he gets 1,000, targets or 1,000 yards rather for the umpteenth year in a row. I just think Tyreek to me should be almost more in this worthy tier, which sounds, I think, a little bit crazy to say out loud, but like, would you rather have Tyreek or Worthy if you really thought through the outcomes? A guy in year 2 versus a guy who's pretty old and went the wrong way last year? I don't know. Can Kyler support 2 pass catchers? The question in the stack. That's true, especially if he does run more. Maybe not. We got Travis Hunter here, and I've not taken Travis Hunter at ADP very often because he usually goes early. But I'll take Travis Hunter here. Good reports so far. A lot of week 8 buys is not great to start. But Hunter, to me, as I've talked about earlier in the year, all the people that were like, Travis Hunter is going to play part-time slot, play corner on the other. No, that was never it. He was never a slot. That wasn't the thing. But he was a really efficient outside receiver at Colorado. It was kind of a bullshit offense. But still was one where Hunter was great despite that, despite Shedeur not being the most efficient high EPA player in the world either. So I think Hunter's in a good situation. I do think he should meaningfully also hurt Brian Thomas's ADP because you went from having nobody out there with Thomas, and that's what led to the biggest upside that he had last year at the end of the season, to having a guy out there that's like a legit weapon. And you have other guys out there too who may take some work away. I think they're going to use Brian Thomas well. I think he'll improve as well in year 2. But I don't think that he's a guy you want to take at the 1-2 turn anymore. I'd take him more towards the middle of the second if you can. Hampton, Harvey here, Pickens here, Calvin Ridley here. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll take Ridley ahead of Pickens. I feel like with Bijan here, we could take another RB. I do think Drafters rewards you kind of building a more balanced team a bit more in some of the other sites, even though we are trying to build balance in general more this year. With ADPs, I think aligning in a more favorable way. But I feel like for me here, getting one RB like Bijan, I feel pretty confident in him being a guy that can carry me, and I want to make receiver better. So we got Harrison, we got Hunter, we got Calvin Ridley, bunch of outside receivers who have end zone equity. So I do kind of like the receivers we're taking, the type of guys we're taking at the very least. But really, though, Ridley and Pickens, I'd favor Ridley because of Cam Ward and the fact that Ridley's an unquestioned number 1 receiver. But I think that's close. I think I would be okay taking Pickens. I don't like Waddle that much. Pickens shouldn't move ahead of Zay Flowers. I don't think he should move ahead of J-Mo. He could move ahead of Waddle, and I wouldn't be mad at it. He could stay ahead of Judy, and that's fine. I think Godwin's too cheap. I think Jennings is too cheap. That's that tier for me. Shout out to guy Robert Griffin III here. Busy man at work. Glad to see him in. Pro Ridley don't have enough and need way more. I agree. I agree with that. I like Ridley, and I go out of my way to get Ridley for the most part, but I'm not reaching for it in any crazy way. But I feel really strong about Ridley being the kind of receiver that's going to work the best with Cam Ward. He's going to force the ball downfield. Cam Ward, to his credit, has already been talking up Ridley and mentioning him as being one of the best receivers in football, even though really nothing supports that. But Ridley last year, despite having, really shitty QB play for the most part, still a 0.15 EPA per target guy, which is at pretty good volume, 24.1% target per out run, 1.7 deep targets a game. That's where things will look a lot better for him. Could have been better getting targets in the red zone, only 0.5 there. But the offense should be overhauled enough that like Ridley stats being positive at all with Will Levis throwing him dog shit balls. And obviously Mason Rudolph for a couple weeks as well, giving him better play. I think that Ridley to me is a strong, what do you say, bounce back? Because he wasn't awful last year, but strong year 2 of a coaching staff pick. And he's got, less on his tires than some other guys do who are his age. We got pick 69 coming up here, which will hopefully be a nice pick for me. And really pretty open-ended as to what we can do. We do have Tennessee, New Orleans correlation potentially. Arizona, we need Cincinnati. Atlanta, we need Rams. None of those looking as quite as good here. J-Port really soaking up the clock. We can tell who wants me to go to daycare on time and who doesn't in this room. I'll tell you what. Caleb Johnson having some nice quotes right now. Jerry Jeudy here, a little bit of an ADP value. I have not seen Jerry Jeudy at all. I'm going to go Olave here. Olave playing Tennessee week 17. They also, I know anybody else? They also in my little playoff cheat sheet, which you can get on the Discord, or also if you join my Tails package, both of which are linked down below. Carolina, Jets, Tennessee. So nothing else for New Orleans yet. That's okay. I've not committed myself to memorization as much for week 17 yet, which I should. Some of them stuck in my head, like Niners, Chicago is definitely there. Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, definitely. No, Miami, Tampa Bay, rather. That's so I already fucked that up. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, that'd be another one. But I really have to think about it, which is not where you want to be in drafts, I don't think. We've got the Tennessee bet, so Pollard would make sense. A little bit of a discount on Odunze. And we can get Tyjae Spears later on, and I'd also be okay with that. I'm going to go Odunze. Again, Bijan, I expect to carry a lot of water at RB, so I can live with that. 5 receivers, though, making it up for us a little bit more. And then hopefully we'll get a QB coming up next. If not, we'll take an RB. Because the site PPR. Great callback here. Yes, Drafters is in fact PPR. And let's make the sales pitch for Drafters, because again, they are one of the presenting spot. Well, they are the presenting sponsor of all the draft streams I'm doing all summer. Full point PPR on here. No playoff pods. That luck component goes out the window, which for a lot of people out there, and who got tilted last year about the payouts they did or did not get after having their Saquon Barkleys and whatnot. Playing on a total points format will reward you more for that, because you don't have to worry about the luck or being an absolute chalk donkey in week 15, week 16, trying to advance on a pod. And that's the good stuff you have going on Drafters. It just comes down to, I think, your pure drafting ability / really your ability to hit that kind of median projection and the higher end of it. It rewards you more for that more than anything. And I've had great results on here. Picked up top 100 finish a couple years ago in the Drafters big tournament here, what is now their main event championship that I'm in right now. Finished top 12 last year in their playoff best ball tournament, and I was only putting in 3 entries on stream. That's what you can do on Drafters, and I don't think you have the ability to do on other platforms. Just get more for less. So check them out here. Lots of rewards as well for when you put in entries. You get free entries at 10, at 25. A bunch of free entries to give away, and they have some flash discounts as well. So good shit for you on Drafters if you are trying to make your money last and not just leave it all on the table. So check it out at Drafters, link down below, or use the promo code SPLASH at Drafters for a $100 deposit match. And I'll be playing on here all summer, so you'll get plenty of time to be in these drafts with me, as I desperately need to fill the rooms. We got Bijan, Marvin Harrison, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Romo Dunze, Trey McBride. So definitely the wide receiver room, you could feel, I think, the crush of giving away some capital other positions. But I like this 5 I feel like very boomy top 5, maybe a little bit less of a floor top 5, which can be risky. I feel like there are going to be weeks where this entire wide receiver core could combine for, or, have the best score, put up 12 points, and that wouldn't shock me. But, got to build a team. What do you have coming up here? Not a great RB pocket coming up. Justin Fields has moved ahead of Kyler Murray. Interesting to see there. Do you like Fields? Took him in a Jets unstacked team on DraftKings right before this one. Ended up taking Arian Smith and Josh Reynolds for free late. They still have Alan Lazard for free late as well, because it looks like he posted the Wolf of Wall Street "I'm not fucking leaving" meme, as if that's the cult of personality he has. We got Scadaboo here, a little bit of a discount, but I have to take Kyler Murray here. We got that Arizona double. Not worth risking around the turn, even though I don't think I'm the KY would take it. I don't know, Johnny. I don't know, Whitey Locks. I don't trust them. So Kyler Murray, come on down. Arizona double stack completed. I like this team so far. Definitely need to get there at RB. But Bijan will cover up the warts here better than it would be if I had done my usual 0 RB bullshit. Which I'm trying to do less, really. Fell into the trap on DraftKings right before this one on the stream I did on Stochastic. But really trying to not do 0 RB as often if possible. What happened instead was I was like, oh, I don't want to do zero RB. I ended up taking Alvin Kamara and David Montgomery, and that feels not like a great click either. There goes Jaden Higgins going at 97. This dude really loading up at receiver in the one hole. 5 receivers, 3 rookie RBs, another rookie receiver on top. Probably going to hit another position at that point. Caleb Williams goes to I am the KY. I don't think I was going to take him anyway, but could have taken him with Odunze. I am the KY. Are you doing an unstacked Caleb Williams? Okay. We got Kelsey, Nix, Jalen Warren here. Warren, perfectly viable RB2, I think, in my opinion, at this point of draft. Kelsey, another tight end. Meh. Yeah, let's go Jalen Warren. Let's go Jalen Warren. Warren, the big upside for him is that Caleb Johnson, to me, does not look like a finished product coming in. Do think he looks a lot like a Najee Harris type with a little bit more juice. So that's sort of the concern, is that he can come in right away and do what Najee Harris did last year, I think, with some capability. But the pass blocking stuff, I think less likely. Some shot as well that Caleb Johnson maybe not as great in the red zone as Najee. If Najee was great, not as trust in the red zone, maybe Jalen Warren could get more work there, would be the hope. But Warren, I think, a pick 100. I think the pick speaks for itself. So I'm still cool with that. You know, on drafters in particular, you are not really rewarded by taking the shittiest version of a stack. I have to say, like for Underdog, for DraftKings, you're getting there. Like you get there if you take a Komet and Zacchaeus, you get leverage then on the higher drafted, more Odunze, Burden, whatever. Even then, I would still probably want like a Burden, Caleb Williams stack. But like, you're not getting that on drafters. You're getting that for maybe the last week of the rest of your team pops, but you really want the guy who's good all season as opposed to the guy who spikes once or twice. That's my thought with drafters. That would be a key difference, I would say. If you'll be robust enough at RB last year on drafters, will make that mistake again. Yeah, you need to be more well-rounded at RB. You need to have an elite RB if you can, / I think a top 5 rounds RB at the very least. Maybe 2 if you're not taking an elite one. Take like 1 5 through round 8, another one 6 through 10, somewhere in there. But definitely, I don't think the ADPs this year align particularly well either for like zero RB crushing it on drafters. I don't think they did last year. Still try to probably steer it into it more than I should. This year, really don't think it does kind of reward it at all. If the DJ Moore drafter is pissed at you, probably you might take, Twitter, a great place to settle all these disputes, I'm sure. Guys, show some love if you can. If you're watching this live or after the fact, hit the like button, subscribe. I don't know what I'm competing against at this point. I'm just doing my work at this point on stream. You guys know the deal. And these drafts, Tuesday at 4 p.m., going to be a thing, even though, really, the views are not making me think I should keep it up. But I am going to be here, guys, no matter what. You're doing my drafts on Drafters, on DraftKings, on Underdog. A lot of great feedback on Friday as well from you guys about doing the 3 sites at once. So appreciate all you guys who did chime in on that. I'm going to make that a staple here of what we're doing this summer, is hitting Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters on Fridays. But again, I'm just working for myself here, doing the best I can, showing you guys my gambling, dealing with the trolls and the fucking weirdos on Twitter, who are just desperate for likes on my name. And really, like, it's a point where I don't even want to, like, I don't even want to participate. I just want to do my shit. That's all I care about here. So the work goes into this stuff, and you guys in the Discord as well. But really, this is one dude, an Underdog, who like is like obsessed with me again too. Now it was like this. I forget what the fuck is his name. He goes by like Chad Michaels something on his Underdog name, and he's been in my draft room, so I think he was a fan too. But he's like posted tweets like trying to get likes on hating me, and I'm like, God, my God, dude, like these guys got one moment of like reflection from me being mean to them, and like now they just are fixated in a way that makes me so fucking uncomfortable. I do it to myself. I know I do, but I still just like doing this part. I just like doing the part where I draft teams and hope they win money, and I get my takes out. And then I don't have any more takes, and I get back and I do some more research and more work and read news. And I get more takes to do another draft. That's a process I like. Talk to people I don't respect on Twitter. I don't know why. I don't know why it has to be part of the game. I don't think it should be. Anyway, that's a tangent that nobody cares about. We got Chicago stacked up here a little bit. You could take another tight end. That would be okay. Another RB would be logical, but Javonte Williams coming up for him is not going to be what I do here. Doing nothing else stack-wise I want to do. So I'm just going to go Colston Loveland here. We got Chicago. We got Arizona. We got stacks. One with a QB, one without. That's okay. Yeah, I mean, you could use that word if you want. I just think that, I mean, to me, it's been multiple things I've said before, but like when I don't like stuff, I just don't watch it. Like, to be totally honest, I'm not watching a lot of best ball content in the space right now because I think it's all, mine included. Like, I try to find ways to make it better. It's all feels a little samey at this point. So, like, just don't watch stuff. Like, I don't need to be angry at people on Twitter, on media, or whatever. There's other things I don't watch too that are not related to best ball. Like, I just get tired of. So, if you get tired of me, don't watch me. I don't care. Come back in if you want. Just if you go like, I missed hearing this take. Like, great. But I don't know, man. People just really get worked up, and people also just love getting engagement on Twitter. It's like it does nothing for you. No disrespect to anybody you like loves Twitter out there, but like if you're trying to be a content creator, just tweeting all the time is not really the way to do it. Just making content that you actually think is good is probably more the way to do it. Travis Etienne hanging around here. Still think he's a good click at this point. Maybe gets traded to somewhere like a Dallas. Maybe he hangs on in Jacksonville, wins over the coaching staff with his hard work in the offseason. I think those outcomes are both in range. And we have a little bit of a bet on Jacksonville anyway with Hunter. So we'll take ATN here as well. Add him onto the fray. Team so far is Kyler Murray, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, a wide receiver, Marvin Harrison, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Romo Dunze, and tight end, Trey McBride, Colson Loveland here. No bye week conflicts here, so we should be okay. Like the way the teams come together. Don't have to worry about week 17 correlations. That helps out a little bit as well. I like this team. This is why I'm $8,500 in the best ball thing, the fantasy best ball contest, because I draft good teams. That's all I do. Let's see what we get around the bend here. Rashid Shaheed at 127, a little bit light to me. Do you think that people are down on the New Orleans offense with Shucks starting? And I am too, because I just don't think Shucks that good. But he's starting for them, and Kellen Moore handpicked him. I'm going to keep making this argument all summer. At a certain point, you just make the buy. Shaheed's down 20 spots from pre-draft. Olave's down. I mean, I took him 69th here, but he went 80 in the DraftKings room I was just in. These guys are down a lot, and I don't think they should be. Shout out Spags. Shout out Spags. Shout out Spags. Shout out Jack for watching here, saying Spags, what's up, dude? Good. Glad to see you guys here. And again, if you're watching live, hit that like button, subscribe. Appreciate all you guys watching. If you're watching live right after the fact, doesn't really matter when you watch, as long as you do. Appreciate the view either way. And do check out Drafters, $100 deposit match, link down below on there. Again, full point PPR, so total points there, so you're not dealing with any playoff pods. Those are the big perks you have. And 500K to first place, so pretty big prize pool as well up top there. In particular, that 500K to first. So check it out. We've had guys in the community besides me who've also finished top 10 in the last couple of years. Do you think your money will go further on Drafters based on my anecdotal results? So check it out. That's clever. The Saints owe as fuck. Yes, that. Again, they took him. They thought he was good. I don't know. It's one of those things you kind of have to just, like, you like coaching, you like the way that the organization did some things this year with, again, hiring Kellen Moore in the first place. You just give him that trust and hope it works out. So that's still how I would feel about New Orleans overall, even though I think Shuck, to me, I mean, again, I've said it on stream, I like Dylan Gabriel more than him. I could actually go through my QB list and tell you who I like more than Shuck. I like Will Howard more than him. Honestly, I like Will Howard a lot more. Gabriel, like more. Curtis Rourke, I would like more. Jackson Dart, easy one to like more. They should have traded up and got him. Carson Beck, I wouldn't have liked more. Quinn Ewers, I wouldn't have liked more. Milrow, at least he can run, but he's definitely a worse QB than Shuck. But frankly, he has a better on-target pass rate by 0.3, so 0.3%. So like Jalen Milrow, shitty QB with some real bad AR-like accuracy issues, but I think he's still better than Shuck. Shador, I would have absolutely taken over Shuck. Cam Ward, easily over Shuck as well. But then why does Kellen Moore like him? I don't know. Kellen Moore might like him because he sees himself in him. And he's like, oh, this guy's kind of a mediocre college QB. Maybe things can be good for him. I don't know. But something's working. Olave is your wide receiver 5. Seems pretty cozy in best ball. I agree. Olave is wide receiver 5. 4 is in my room here. I think would be pretty good. Frankly, if he's your third guy, but you have a good enough 2 above him, one elite, maybe like a Jefferson tier guy, whatever else, I think that'd be fine too. I just don't think Olave is dead. Be honest, would love to win one of these big contests, but the amount of sad boys that would pop up if you wanted to make me quite happy. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I think what would happen is just I'd be able to dunk on them, but I wouldn't even care enough to. I would just make my tweet and go like, I won this, fuck everybody. And that would be how it goes. We got Travis Hunter here. We got ATN, I think, taking the QB here. A little bit of a discount on Trevor Lawrence feels pretty good. Trey Benson being paired in here wouldn't be bad either, but Lawrence, I think, a better play for me. So second QB done. 2 week 8 buys. God damn it. Oh, those crazy 8s. So, all right. Live for a third QB later on. It's 20 round draft. Who cares? We got Kyler Murray and Trevor Lawrence as our QBs. That would be good. That's it. We don't even draft on our computers anymore. It's on our phones. That's true. We don't make those human connections anymore. Imagine if I did every draft in person with people. My God. It's hard enough to like find an hour to do drafts in general. Like if you have a child and a lot of work stuff, like I very much am now in that full mode where your time is kind of precious and all that. But I do think that for just getting drafts done, certainly your computer is going to be the better option. I would say that. Easier to do it on mobile and walk around. But slow draft bros, I guess, have it pretty good. I might actually do some slow drafts this year too, just to make sure I max things out. All right, we're on the clock here. Trey Benson came back. I'm just going to take him. We got this Arizona bet. We got a pretty good RB room developing here with Bijan, Jalen Warren, ATN, Trey Benson. The issue is another week 8 buy, but we can survive with that. Benson, the biggest cosign for him is that they want to have this be a timeshare. Jonathan Gannon said that multiple times throughout the offseason. So when your head coach is saying that out there right away, pretty positive thing, I would think. But yeah, I think for Trey Benson, he was honestly a better player last year. Decent avoided tackle rate guy, a decent EPAs. He had 0.01 EPA per rush, which is fine at his level of volume. Not being the highest, 0.54 EPA per target's pretty good. 21% avoided tackle rate, very good. Got the occasional red zone carry. I think there's signs of life for him here. The issue is that they have to give up James Conner, which is kind of like asking a crack addict to give up the pipe. But I think that, still a spot for me where Benson getting more work here makes him playable in this kind of team. I appreciate that, Seal. And I understand why Spags gets the hate. Been watching for 2 years. Always found him entertaining. I mean, I am. It's all his people on Twitter who don't really watch, and they probably watched one stream. But it's also like a particular hive of people that got really mad at the content creator industry last year because we didn't tout Saquon enough, or like we shit on people for taking Saquon, which I certainly did a little bit. But like I also, once I saw the situation, and I also talked about it even-handedly enough times where like if people actually paid attention, like guys like CLN who watch enough of the streams and you've been in the community for a while. It's a difference to me between people who are in the community versus people who just like see one thing or hear, even worse, hear an at mention from somebody else. They completely misrepresent something. And that's what it is. Like those guys like all like piled on me when like literally a guy threatened to come to my house and attack me. And it's like, you're chiming in support for this guy because you tweet with him often and you're all like kind of sad fantasy, like sad sack fantasy football guys on Twitter. I don't get it, but I get it. People don't trust content creators or whatever, even though like I show my process. Like, trust me, I don't want to do the weekly review streams. It doesn't make me any money. And it's just a waste of time that sometimes makes me feel bad, but I do them for accountability and stuff. So people know what I'm doing and whatever. So I've done this. I feel nothing bad about like how I've approached things on my end, besides the fact that like, I shouldn't even acknowledge people is really my big thing. Because I instead, like whenever people try to be shitty to me, I try to like tear them back down and hurt them in some way and make them feel bad. And ideally in some life, make them, I wouldn't really, I don't know. Some people I think need that reality check. But because I'm not like, oh, like great thought like I'm not a kindergarten teacher. Like I'm not, I never will be. I don't care about most people's opinions, to be totally honest. I care about mine. I care about people that do the work and actually know what they're talking about. I don't care about people just clout farming or whatever on Twitter. Like I don't think your opinions are valid just because you exist. But then, that's me and whatever. I still listen to people, but I just don't like having to educate everybody. I want you to at least be like on a certain level to come into this channel and watch my videos, and hopefully you know something and you're ready to hopefully know more and I could add value to it. But it's like, I know my bona fides. Like I fucking ran Football Outsiders. Like I've done this for years. I've won a lot of money doing it. I'm good at what I do. So it really doesn't bother me that much, besides the fact it's just stupid. Anyway, third QB here in Cam Ward would be viable. Adding Eckler to the RB room would be viable. I mean, frankly, we do need another QB. Cam Ward fits the criteria here. Got a good enough bet on Ridley. I'll take Cam Ward. Could have tried to get a late QB instead, given the fact I've spent pretty good capital at QB already. But I feel good about the team being balanced. I think I'll stick the landing here. So I'm just going to take Cam Ward, get my natural stack. So we're the ones. I don't even think it's people mad at losing. I think it's literally people that I don't know. Like, that's the thing. It's like, it's a bunch of dudes on Twitter I've never even heard of who like are obsessed with me now. And it's like, I don't know why. And not in a way where I'm like, oh, like you're so obsessed with me with like a fucking Ariana Grande song. But it's like, I don't know, just got these hate boners. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't know you. And I don't want to. So that's the end of the exchange. People want to be dicks, but can't handle leaving the stream for 5 minutes because they think it's their right. That's also true. That's true. They can't handle a 5-minute timeout as a bit because they can't even speak English correctly in the chat so I can understand them. But I don't know. It's always going to be a thing. It is what it is. If you guys watch the streams, you know I do the work. You know I know my shit better or as well as anybody in the industry. And it would be hard for me to have snake oil sales here, given the fact you literally see me talking through my picks on stream every day. So I appreciate all you guys who are regulars here. I just have to get better at tuning out everything else. Actually thinking about full deleting Twitter. But I might just delete my entire history and just only retweet stuff is what I'm thinking. Because I just don't want to engage. I just don't think I don't think it's worth it. I don't know. If you don't think something's worth your time, don't do it. Whether it's watching something, whether it's doing a part of work that doesn't actually add money value to what you're doing. I make no money off Twitter. Why do I go on there and just feel bad or to be mad at somebody? What's that worth? All right, pick 172 coming up here. We've got a 3-4-5-2, as you can see in this little left corner here. Keenan Allen being free would work. Another Jags player with Brenton Strange. Frankly, doesn't feel bad either. Colson Loveland could take some time to ramp up. Keenan Allen, I think, is probably your best receiver click here, knowing that he'll sign somewhere and probably have a lot of value. So I'm going to go Keenan Allen. Not taking him for my fake Chicago stack here without the QB, but I am taking Keenan Allen because I think he'll go somewhere useful and be a more viable wide receiver 6 for me than anybody else. But I don't think that Keenan Allen is going to go unsigned, for the record. Like, I think that he is sitting out right now because no one gave him enough money for him to justify being there for OTAs in May, doing the work, doing whatever PR you have to do. I think he's just chilling. Maybe he's getting fat again. I don't know. But I think he'll be back in time for a contender by the time the summer's around. And maybe that doesn't really mean the ADP moves up enough, but I think by the time it gets July, I guess he would sign. If it's August, maybe I'll worry a little bit more. It's actually funny, though. People need to have a mind. I watch Davis from time to time and agree with almost nothing he says. Fair enough. But don't sit there and argue. That's also fair. I mean, look, I don't know. People can do whatever they want with takes. Like, I think that's the thing to me. I really prefer people not follow me. That's part of the why it took me so long to put out rankings. Like, I don't want to leave people off of a cliff if I have a bad take on something, but I approach it earnestly. It's the same shit that I use for everything. So that's the best I can do. But it is a space right now that I think is like real weird. I don't know. I've said it before. I think certain sites out there have not done a good enough job conditioning people to realize like that they weren't going to win money because they drafted Saquon last year. That wasn't enough. You had to also have good structure around it, understand game theory, knowing that if Saquon hit in the way that people expected, he would also then be mega chalk, which he was. But I think people can't grasp that because they're not smart enough about this. Honestly, might be from not doing it long enough, but it's not my job. It's not my job to like handhold people to competency. I try, but a lot of those people on Twitter are just like lost cases. When there's 1,000 people liking a tweet about how they don't want to stack, like, where's the industry going? People are not getting educated enough. Biggest Keenan fear is he is off-screen training or off-season training with Joey Chestnut. Well, he'd be good at something again. Look, the main things for Keenan Allen last year, he was still the best receiver in Chicago. He was most efficient, had the most red zone work, spiked the most down the home stretch. People could still like DJ Moore, but like Keenan Allen, 0.2 EPA per target, 24% target per out run, 1.1 red zone targets a game. DJ Moore, not David Moore, not Rondale. DJ Moore, a 0.1 EPA, 22% target rate per route run. Odunze, 0.1 EPA per target, 18% target per route run. Like Allen's, you quote those numbers, and granted, these are the numbers that I value the most. Like, how much is the guy getting targets? How efficient was he when he got targeted? But he was better than those guys that, like, sort of to me, what the core things are of being a receiver. Could have been because Caleb Williams didn't have anybody to watch film with him last year. Like, that's part of the issue for sure, what Chicago did. But like, Keenan Allen had enough juice to get open. I know with the fantasy points data, he had a high average separation score as well. So like, for Keenan Allen, I think the only thing that's keeping him from signing is just that he doesn't want to do hard work, which is maybe not great when you're as old as he is, but I get it. All right, pick coming up here. Feeling okay at RB. Can add one more on. Definitely need to add more at receiver. This range is not the sexiest one. I mean, Michael Wilson is here. They really haven't added anybody to replace him. So I'll just add him onto the stack here. Maybe they'll finally do something good. If Michael Wilson didn't hit last year, I don't know how he's going to hit this year, really. Where's stats from last year? Michael Wilson, 0.13 EPA per target, 15% target per out run, 0.5 red zone targets a game. You really just the definition of just a dude as a wide receiver too. But we got Kyler, we got the stack. We'll take the shot. It's going to be a reckoning for those rebelling against the streamers. Scoring and offensive production increases. Offenses started to respond what defenses were doing. So stacking is still necessary. That's true. I mean, the passing games were starting to explode down the home stretch in a huge way for a lot of different teams. I don't think we're going to see the same RB dominance this year, but I do think the RBs are appropriately priced for the most part. I really do think this year, though, you won't be able to get away with like 3 out of your first 5 picks being an RB and then your top receiver, one of them being like Quentin Johnston types. I really don't think that's going to work this year, but I do think having that early RB will be necessary because of how many people are loading up at RB. And I'm not sure receiver will create enough distance even. We're on the clock here. Let's see what we can do with these picks. Woody Marks would be playing for the upside contingent value for Houston. Ayumanor is also a stack partner, though. Let's do Ayumanor. Another guy I'm not the biggest on. In fact, my biggest pro comp for Ayumanor was Michael Wilson. 2 guys who played at Stanford, neither of which showed a whole lot. Ayumanor, a better athlete, but both guys just kind of big-bodied outside receivers that aren't that good at target earning. I like neither. I like Ayumanor more because he's a better athlete. I think he's got more potential because of that. But to me, I think his biggest potential here is just contingent value for Calvin Ridley. So maybe not the best bet in a team with Ridley, but he'll play outside. It's fine. I think Lockett's a better click than Ayumanor for when you need projection points. Maybe I should have just taken Lockett. Who knows? We got 3 more picks, though. 20-round draft here on Drafters. And again, do check them out. Support Drafters, or support the show, really, by checking out Drafters. Promo code SPLASH on there gets you a $100 deposit match. It's the best deposit bonus they have. So do check it out here. It supports the show directly. And again, Drafters is partnering with me all summer long to put drafts out there, covering every platform, too, because they kind of get that's the value of what these streams are. It's not just about chilling one platform, which I think has some detriments to your guys' growth and just really the industry overall. So shout out Drafters. Really do appreciate them being a partner here. Check them out if you enjoy this content. Link down below and $100 deposit match, but just getting 1 entry, try it out. I don't know. Follow your heart. But a lot of free entries on Drafters. I think your EV there for the bonuses, probably the highest on Drafters, second highest on DraftKings, and non-existent on Underdog. So unless things change and they can't fill some tournaments, but you're getting a lot of bonus entries on Drafters than you are getting, some other sites in particular our boy Underdog. You get points for wind sprints. Well, Ayumanor will be doing some great wind sprints for sure. But wind sprints still technically are part of the formula. If you're out there running routes, I still value those guys more. I might take a 3rd tight end, potentially. I feel like Loveland is tight end 2. Doesn't make me feel the most secure. We'll see. Feeling kind of good with my RBs with Bijan, Warren, ATN, and Benson. Maybe not accounting for the downside as much as I should there. But I like the RB room. Taj Brooks going to line of scrimmage. Charlie doing some interesting stuff in the 5-hole today. Juwan Johnson was a guy who was in the hunt for me because of my New Orleans stuff. Thought that might have been a nice little tight end to add on to my group, but we're not going to do that. I take a lot of Nick Chubb late, and I think that's the click here again. We don't have any Tampa Bay. I think we could take a shot at Sean Tucker here and see how he does. Sean Tucker, round 18, RB5. Really just playing for upside here in the hopes that somebody gets hurt in Tampa Bay on this particular team. I can live with it. I just been taking too much Kareem Hunt, or too much Nick Chubb lately, and I got to not do it, at least right now. For Underdog, you get an ugly T-shirt for 150. They do give away free T-shirts. That's I think you get like $30 or something for one of these. It's tough, man. That's what happens when you're in the lead, though. You don't want to, you don't want to give up too much for free. All the companies though need like better rewards programs for their customers. I think it's insane that like fucking 70-year-old casinos have better rewards programs than apps that you play, thousands of dollars a week on. I don't know, however much you guys are playing. But whatever. That's my ethos. You guys know. Whatever. It's gonna happen. All right, 2 more picks left here. Depending on what we get back, couple clicks that could work. All right, so Wicks goes. Chubb's still here. Lockett's still here if I want to add one more receiver in. I really don't want to draft Chubb, so I'm going to just force myself to take a different RB in round 20. We'll go Lockett here in round 18. And we have the bet on Tennessee with Cam Ward here. We got Cam Ward, Ridley, Ayumanor, now Lockett. I can live with that. We're probably not going to get the third tight end here unless I eschew getting one more RB. That might be a tough click. We'll see what we get back to us. I like this team, though. Let's give the team a read. We got Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence as our QBs, same bye week, so we had to take Cam Ward as QB3, but I'm okay with that. I think he's got a good price tag. Go and pick 165 here on Drafters. Bijan Robinson was my first pick. Jalen Warren was my next RB here, so a lot of starving RB in between. Travis Etienne, Trey Benson, Sean Tucker here to round out the RB room. Again, felt good enough about the top 4, but I maybe RB6. Might be the move. A receiver, Harrison, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Romo Dunze. Young, downfield, all boundary targets, top 5. I think it's kind of interesting. Not little PPR slot boys, which also certainly add value in a different way. Keenan Allen here, who is more of a PPR slot boy. If he ever signs the team and isn't morbidly obese by the time it happens, he's going to turn to the man versus food guy, who at one point, Adam Richmond, if you guys know him, got so fat from doing the Man versus Food show. Then he had like a GQ feature because he like lost so much weight playing soccer or whatever, was on Skinny Boy trying to get hosting gigs doing that. Now he's back doing stuff for like First We Feast, and he's like morbidly obese, like crazy, like to the point where I was like, oh my God, like this is how I feel some days. Looking at him, I gotta cut back. Like, that's how bad it is. That's what we're worried about for Keenan Allen, is that he becomes that yo-yoing of weight and then can't get it off. Either way, I think he works at pick 172 to try to round out a receiver room. Then we added on top Michael Wilson, Ayumanor, Lockett, all stacked up plays. That's the power of stacking, is making late picks a little more easy to identify, hopefully, and maybe there's some upside there. And at tight end, Trey McBride, Colston Loveland. I think it's a good team. And I think it's a drafters team. I think the stackiness maybe makes it feel a little more underdog DK playing for playoff pod stuff. But I'm okay with it. Kmet's still a 20th round dart. Yeah, I think that he's playable. He's still getting paid big money by Chicago. He'll be out there. I think Loveland is certainly the higher ADP guy for a reason, but you run the risk of it being a different version of a Sinnott Ertz thing a little bit. I think that's that. Shout out Charlie. Appreciate this. Thanks, Spags. And my best to draft quickly so your child doesn't have to stand out in the cold waiting for you. They would still keep him at the daycare. They would just charge him. They would charge us, Rob. They wouldn't charge him. I think it's like you get charged $5 a minute you're late or something. It's like something really punitive to try to make sure parents don't just stick the kids there. So yeah, I appreciate it, Charlie. Thank you. We got through this in a good amount of time. Thanks to guys like Charlie. Picking Nico Collins at the 5. One more RB here, maybe. McLaughlin. Ty Johnson, kind of a fun click. I have taken Ray Davis a little bit. Eli Mitchell still very much in play, even though people don't take him anymore. McLaughlin, frankly, still in play as well, even though everybody loves RJ Harvey. Like, McLaughlin's been trusted a lot in high leverage spots, third down kind of situations. Don't think he's dead either, but we'll take the shitty RB we chose. Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Cam Ward is our QB room. At RB, Bijan Robinson, Jalen Warren, Travis Etienne, Trey Benson, Sean Tucker, Ty Johnson. So some unique guys late here. I think Tucker and Johnson as RB3s make more sense than a lot of RB3s. And we get RB3s drafted substantially higher for some teams. At receiver, we have Marvin Harrison, Travis Hunter, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Romo Dunze. Keenan Allen here, again, not signed, but I do think when he does sign anywhere, he'll be a lot higher ranked. Michael Wilson, Alika Umanor, and Tyler Lockett. And a tight end, McBride, Colson Loveland. For a 20-round draft, adding the third tight end here would have made sense, but I like what I did. I like how this worked. Fortunately, only one draft here today because I do have to pick up the kid from daycare. But I will be doing drafters again later in the week. I might have some streams tomorrow, though I do have to do a little interview thing because somebody hit me up for a job, and I don't know. I don't want a job, but I can do a job if the job's going to pay me a lot. So we'll see here, but I will be on tomorrow. Tomorrow on Stochastic doing the MLB show, I believe. NBA stream tomorrow as well for the Knicks. Pacers coming up tomorrow. I do have an NBA stream for today's game as well with the Minnesota OKC game 1. If you want to check that out on the @Splash Play Bets channel. If you also want to see another draft for me, check out my Splash Play. Moving to Stochastic, doing a DraftKings draft, right before this one. I got a lot of content out there, guys. That's what I care about. I care about doing the work on there, and I don't give a shit about tweeting at people. But show some love back if you can. Subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. It all goes a long way for me. Here's one guy fighting off the trolls, fighting off whatever. Doing the best I can to give you guys good info when you do watch a stream. Check out our sponsors as well. In particular, Drafters. $100 deposit match on Drafters with that promo code SPLASH. They are presenting sponsor here. Your money will also go further on Drafters. That is a guarantee from me. If you put in some entries there based off my results, and I can't do better than like putting 3 entries on stream for playoff best ball and fishing top 12. I know I'm good at drafting. Again, I'm pretty confident in that, but like that was crazy run out for me. That really gives me hope that if you guys, even if you put in 1 entry on Drafters, you'll have a shot at it being somewhat valuable to you. So check them out. Great site, great partner for me for what I like to do here, just drafting on every site and talking about it as earnestly as I can. So do check them out. Join the Discord too. $5 to join. Get in there. Lots of great data coming in. Great takes from a lot of guys who aren't me on there, as well as, of course, me giving you info whenever there's something interesting that I want to highlight in the news. And make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at SplashPlayPod. Shout out to all you guys, in particular the guys in the draft who click quickly. Charlie, appreciate you. KY, appreciate you as well. Chunk, appreciate you too. But I'll see you guys again soon for more. So, hey, enjoy your days. Good luck, and bye-bye.